Hi, and welcome to Turra Company, the mother-daughter podcast about everything. Our mission is to make herstory, aka history, not by going viral, but by doing something that has never been done before in our family. Whether we have 2 listeners or 2 million listeners, we are bringing you our very best, and hopefully we are learning and growing together in the process. Now let's enter into the Turra Company experience and create herstory, aka history together. Welcome to Turra Company.
Hey.
Hello. Hi, what's up?
Hello. Hi, company. How y'all doing? We rolling these episodes out. We ain't gonna stop to the party.
Ain't gonna stop till we get enough.
Yeah, that. I was gonna say we ain't gonna stop to the party drop. I don't know where I was getting. I don't
I
even
didn't know
know.
where you were going with that either.
I was trying to make up a little new rhyme. Didn't work. I tried it
There
for
was
2
an attempt.
seconds. There was an attempt.
All right, what are we talking about today? What we talking about?
We are talking about
Getting offended.
and we're talking about how not to get offended, which is by
Just don't. You just don't.
Don't take it personal. That's the name of this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Don't take it personal. That used to be a song.
There's another
Take
song.
the bitter with the sweet. Who sung that song?
I don't know. Some
Easy
probably
come,
old.
easy go.
I know Kaylani got a song called where she said "Don't take it personal."
Yeah, she
No,
probably
that's my
borrowed
Monica
it.
has a song where she says, "Don't take it personal."
I know, but there's an old one. It's like a Smokey Robinson. Somebody.
Smokey
Don't take it
Robinson.
personal. Let me look it up because now I can't stop thinking about it. But that's what our show is about today. Don't take it personal. And we kind of gonna take the show in the vision of being offended. Because that's what we don't want people to do.
I don't think I get offended that often.
You know,
No, I don't think I do.
people don't be telling you stuff.
I don't know about that. I think sometimes you be acting like you get offended, and then you be saying,
do be I just wanna-
Right. You know what? Let's stop the show right now. Let me tell y'all something. We do need to watch our grammar. I mean, our what is it?
slang.
Slang.
Well, our grammar. Is it grammar?
Yeah.
We need to watch our grammar because I'm gonna tell you, it was one of our clips popped up on Facebook, and it was like me. The way it started was I be sounding like buckwheat, and it was saying that it was it had the most views, and it keeps coming up. Like every time I go into my you know how you go into the videos, it keeps coming up, and all I can hear is I be something, and I'm like, and even when I'm editing, we are a lot of I bees and she bees and we be. Oh, it's bad. We need to cut it out.
Yeah, but also at the same time, I feel like grammar doesn't really reflect how people actually talk.
I know. I was thinking about that too. I was like, this is how we talk in real life. Like, we're not at work. We're not trying to be professional. We're not on our TED Talk, which we will have one of these days. And then when we're on our TED Talk, we're going to speak proper grammatic
Yes.
English.
Thank
But
you for coming to our TED Talk.
yeah, we're gonna have that. Don't play with me because that's on my goals list. TED Talk is coming. You hear us, Ted? Because it's funny. It's funny how. Wait a minute. It's funny how your phone FBI agent picks up the dumb stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Like you might say lesbian one time, and then you'll start getting lesbian TikToks.
What?
I'm just saying, you might say lesbian in your conversation one time, and then next thing you know, you're on lesbian side of TikTok. You'd be like, I don't have a problem with it. It's nothing wrong with it. There's totally nothing wrong with you putting me on this side of TikTok.
Not like there's anything wrong
Not
with
that
that.
there's anything wrong with that. I just want to point that out. There's nothing
Seinfeld
wrong
reference for you guys.
with the lesbian side of TikTok. But it's just funny how it'll pick up that, but then I'll sit up here and say I want to have a TED Talk, and the crickets come out. I don't get nothing about TED Talks on none of my social
FBI
media.
agents be going on break.
Yeah.
Be going on break during that part.
Well,
They're like, we can't do that. But we can do this.
Right.
yeah, I can't find the song. Don't take it personal. Like, it's by okay. Listen, if y'all know that old song, I'm not talking about the Monica Don't Take It Personal. It is, I don't know if it's Smokey Robinson. I don't know. I'm going to look it up. Next episode, hopefully by then I'll have it. Okay, let's get started. Don't take it personal. So, a lot of times these shows come up because of the things that have happened in my life. And I'll come to the girls and I'll be like, we should do a show on this so I can get it out. And I don't know about y'all, but it's starting to be kind of therapy for me. Is it therapeutic for you guys?
Yeah,
because we're doing these shows and I'm catching myself. I mean, I'm not popping off as much as I used to. The crickets just came out.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Y'all do me so dirty on this show. Y'all got these people out here thinking I'm Tasmania all the time. I have not been popping off.
No, not really. Yeah.
I've been good.
Yeah.
Ever since, like, recently we've been doing these deep shows talking about deep how to get yourself together and how to think. I've been doing all right.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about it. So we're going to talk about don't take it personal, and we're going to talk about it in the form of offense. So there are a lot of times, because I'm going to start this, there are a lot of times where I'm talking to somebody or I'm interacting with somebody and they will say something and I will get stuck. Like you'll say one thing, one sentence, and it might get me in my feelings, and I will stop at that period. I won't hear nothing else in the paragraph. And so I thought it would be good to do a show because maybe you guys are suffering from the same thing where you're like, why? Or this is the thing. When something happens to me, I always try to register what is happening and what part did I play in it. Do you guys do that?
Yeah.
So I reflect. I think we talked about this before, self-reflection, because that's emotional intelligence.
Yes.
Okay. So, but there are some people who don't reflect. They just out here living their life like a wild cowboy. Pew, 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 shoot them up, bang, bang. It's crazy because you be like, nothing, what is it? Nothing is hitting you? Everything hits me. I'm I'm a porcupine. And my feelings is all in them spikes. So anyway, I'm just I wanted to do a show really quick just to talk about offense and how we give some tools to how you can not be offended. So let's go. Like I said, this came up because this week somebody was talking to me and I was like, did they mean to say it like that? See, that's what happens. So as soon as you say the thing, I go in my brain and I be like, well, did they mean to say it like that? Did they know that they said it like that? And so the twisted thinking that I have, I think yes. I don't know. I have a hard time giving people the benefit of the doubt because you said it. And because I'm so the person that when I say something, I mean it, I think everybody who's talking is doing that same thing. Yeah. Like when you're saying stuff, don't you mean it the way that it came out or no?
Yeah.
So I can't help but take it as that person meant it.
Right.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
So one of the things that I've noticed is a lot of people, and I say this all the time, that words mean things. And
oh
they have
my
definitions,
God.
right?
They have power.
And
God created the earth with words. Are you kidding me?
Right.
Let there be light.
Right. So one of the things that I think is very important is context.
Yeah.
All comes down to context, right?
Yes.
So I could tell you, oh, that hanger is blue.
Right.
Right. I could tell you that hanger is blue.
Right.
And to me saying that out loud is just like, it's an observation.
Yeah.
But if somebody just like doesn't like the color blue, they could be like, well, why does it have to be blue? You know what I mean?
Right.
So your context versus the person who's saying the sentence versus their context is sometimes different.
Right.
So what you say when you say or when somebody says they mean what they say, or you have to mean what you say. You could have, some people can be saying the same thing, but have two different, you could be using the exact same words, but it could have a completely different meaning because of context.
Yeah.
And I think that that's also something that, because
wait a minute. What about because of context and because of understanding?
Context and understanding, yes. And that's something that's mentioned in the article is that when things happen, like when people say things or when people react to certain things, it's because of past behaviors and it's because of like past experiences. So a lot of times it's not it's not you. I'll come back to you in a second, but a lot of what a lot of what offense is, both on the side of being offended and being the offender, I guess, is context.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't cut me up. No. I think I had asked you. So no, that was perfect. In the article that Ariel's talking about, there's an article that we read that I found that was just kind of giving us tips, and we're using it a little bit for this show. It's on uplift.love, the fine art of not being offended by Uplift. And so of course, I'll cite my source, and you guys can have a chance to read this. It's a short little article. It's not long-winded and everything, but I'll post it so you guys can take a look at it and see what you think. But yeah, so I get that, because you're right. You are sometimes offended because of something that happened to you in your childhood.
Or just or yesterday.
Right. And then somebody is just bringing it up with not sensitivity. I think that gets me. So when I think a person should be sensitive in a certain moment and they're not, that offends me. So it's not necessarily the words with me. Sometimes it's the emotion. Like if you convey the wrong emotion to me, that'll offend me sometimes. Which a lot of people don't address that, right? A lot of people always talk about the words offending them. But in my case, a lot of the times, because I don't care about words that much.
Right.
But if you're supposed to be sympathetic and you come off as jokey, that offends me. Like, what just happened? Why are you joking about this serious thing? What is happening right now?
That just reminds me.
Is that your way of dealing with my trauma? What is that? Like, explain this to me, please. I got to understand it.
This is a real quick sidebar, but it's funny that you mentioned that, because that makes sense, especially with you. I'm not going to say a dislike, but your apprehension to sarcasm.
Yeah, I don't. You was right. I don't use it. But am I ever sarcastic? I'm not a sarcastic person.
You're really not. You are not. You're one.
And I don't like for people to be sarcastic with me, because I'm so literal.
I love
because I'm very literal.
No.
Like,
you
I
really
like,
are.
yes, yeah. I'm very little. Like, you got to talk to me the way it is, baby, or we're not gonna have a connection.
I love sarcasm. Sarcasm is my.
But what is sarcasm? What are you really trying to convey when you're sarcasm?
So
when you're sarcasming,
when you're being sarcastic,
when you're sarcasming,
we were just talking about grammar, and there it is,
well,
just out the window.
I sometimes recreate words in the studio. Sarcasm, and when you're sarcasming, what is you trying to do? Because I feel like this is probably why I don't like sarcasm. I feel like people who sometimes do sarcasm are saying things to you that they wanted to say, but they trying to play it in a jokey way so you don't take it for real. And I'm just not that type of person. If I want you to know something, I'm just going to tell it to you.
And I can see that. I can understand that. But I also think that sarcasm is a good way to address those things in a non, like, oh my gosh, we need to have a serious. No, not every issue deserves like a serious sit down conversation to me, which is for me where sarcasm comes in. Like, for example, a good example is Chelsi and I go back and forth a lot, specifically about the clothes I choose to wear and the shoes I choose to wear.
We laughing. Let me tell y'all why we laughing. Because just before we got in the studio, Chelsi was getting on Ariel about some shoes that she has.
And I love these shoes, by the way.
And she loves the shoes. They're her style. They're like some little booty style, little suede.
With like a little block heel. Oh, they're so cute. I love them.
She loves booties. Yeah. So, and there's nothing wrong with booties.
There's nothing wrong
Chelsi,
with booties.
I just
want her to update her style of booties. I'm not saying booties aren't in. I'm saying the style of booties has changed.
She wants her to get a different, but she just bought the booty, so somebody out there wearing these booties with her.
Right.
She did. They're not, the booties that she's wearing are not from 1955.
I'm not saying they're from 1955.
I'm just saying she recently bought them, so somebody
just designed them and put them on the internet for me to buy.
Right. So I mean, it's just not your style. How about that? Because y'all have two different styles.
Yeah, exactly.
Totally.
Anyway,
go ahead.
I bring this up because, like in that situation they're talking about, Chelsi and I were going back and forth, and it was nothing serious. Like, the whole thing was so like the opposite of serious, like not serious at all. But did that require, like, some people I can understand if you like offend their style, or if you say something against their style, like they're genuinely seriously offended. And sometimes they'll take it, like sometimes to them it's that serious where they need to have like a sit down conversation, and usually there's like a deeper issue. But for us, it's strictly surface level. So hence the sarcastic banter back and forth. I think that's completely different than like if I felt like Chelsi invalidated my fashion choices. I don't know.
Which she did.
I mean,
that's why you had that crazy reaction that you had. She told her to F off, y'all. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? They was getting deep with it. It was getting deep. So, but it's a good thing. You brought up a good point in that, because you said it's not every moment is going to be different, is what I think.
Yeah.
Because you could say one thing to me today that I would be like, hee hee hee, ha ha ha. Mm-hmm. But then you could say it to me tomorrow, and I might be going through something else, and I won't be, and I will be offended. Mm-hmm. You know, it kind of depends on your mental and your mood too, because you could be just having all these things coming against you, and then here's one more brick being put in your lap, and you're like. And I think all of this stuff, when I think about the stuff that we talk about, when we talk about this, I call it mind, body, and soul stuff. When we're talking about this kind of stuff, it keeps pointing me back to emotional intelligence.
It does.
And those things that we learned and that we need to continue to learn and put in our backpack, our toolkit, because that to me comes with reading the room.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it comes with reading the room, and also, again, with that stinking thinking that we did of, you know, making sure you're able to manage your emotions, and with emotional intelligence of not letting your emotions of like things that have happened to you affect how you know, everybody else in the room, and noticing how that affects the other people that you're communicating and interacting with.
Yeah, so I see a big correlation between if your emotional intelligence is high, it's probably
you don't get offended.
Less likely that you'll be offended,
right? Because
you'll have your mind in the right place. And I think I'm going to tell you one other thing that I think breeds offense. Mm-hmm. When you admire a person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So say it's somebody that you admire and you look up to them, or you just really appreciate that friendship, kinship, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And then they say something hurtful and you're like, dang, I would never say that to you.
Yeah, that adds a little bit of extra sting to it.
Yeah, because you're like, I would never say that to you. I love you.
Right. Or it's like, oh, I have this value and respect for this person. Why would they treat me this way? Or like that's like you have like these expectations, which this is probably quite a statement for another episode, but stop putting people on pedestals.
Yes, that is so true. We need to have an episode about that because you know what? It does tend to happen. Sometimes you meet somebody and they're in a certain place when you meet them, and you just you have a tendency to put them on a pedestal. Mm-hmm. And then that person, if they're treating you a little different, right? If they're not treating you up high like they are, then you're like, well, why are you talking to me like that?
And then again, you get offended because you're like, well, I have this high esteem for you. Why can't you treat me?
Yeah, you got me on the bottom. Right, you got me on the bottom. Right, I got you on the top. You got me on the bottom. That's one of them things where I told you in the Friends and Faux show, Friends versus Faux show. Like, are you my friend? Am I your friend and you not my friend? That's where that comes in. But yeah, so one of the things, the biggest thing that we got from the article is they were giving the information like hurt people sometimes offend people because, and it didn't go deep into it, but I want to go a little deeper. When you are hurting, like I've been so blessed that I haven't been in one of those situations where you just go into that rabbit hole of hurt, right? Mm-hmm. Where this person has let you down, that person has let you down. And some people, like when you just keep getting let down, that'll have a certain effect on how you treat people.
That's trauma.
Yeah, it's definitely trauma.
That's trauma.
But in my day, because that's now we name it, but back in my day, they didn't call it trauma. They just called you bitter. Because that's what you turn into. Mm-hmm. If everybody you meet, if you meet friends that hurt you, if you meet boyfriends or girlfriends that hurt you, it's like you just start having this opinion in your brain that everybody's out to hurt you. And so when you meet people, you just automatically be on the defense, which sometimes makes you offend people because you don't want them to get too close. Because if they get too close, then they're going to hurt you. So you lash out and defend and offend, and you don't even mean it, but it's just like a protection. It's like a shield that you're building around yourself so that you don't have to be hurt again. Like you build these defenses.
Right.
And then you as the receiver of the person, it was like in this article, it was saying hurt people sometimes offend. And that's why you can't take it personal. Like when you meet a person, you can see they've had a lot of trauma, as Ariel said, in their life because they're telling you these stories and it's just all these crazy things happening to them. When you're dealing with that person, you have to be like, okay, I'm not going to take this personal. She's had a lot or he's had a lot going on. And so they didn't mean to offend me. That's not for me. That's them working through or needing to work through because they might not even know that they need to work through it.
Right. It's almost like you gotta like just step outside of the situation for a second and like take the emotion out of it.
Yes.
And just solely look at the words that the person said.
Yeah, that's true. Because sometimes they could say, did you see that bear over there?
And you were attacked
and you'll
by
be
a
like,
bear and you just don't, like you, anytime someone says a bear, like, what are you talking about? Like,
she said you was attacked by the bear. Did you see that bear over there?
But in your past, like you were camping and you got attacked
and
by
listen,
a bear.
if you was attacked by a bear, we is not laughing at you. We support you. We want everybody to know they support it.
It's so crazy. Ariel talking about you was attacked.
So now every time somebody bring up a bear,
it brings up a response for you. It brings up your fight, flight, or freeze.
It triggers you.
But
right.
It might, and that might happen. Listen,
it might happen.
It could happen, but
it could be. I'm gonna say a dog. How about a dog? Because the likelihood of you being attacked by a dog is more likely than the bear. I'm not putting it down though. It happens. Look, y'all be out there.
Is not
y'all be
zero.
out there in the mountains hiking and stuff, and the bears come, and then what do? I don't even know. You get some bear spray. I don't know.
Bears be coming into civilization. I see all them videos. They be in the swimming pool, walking up to the.
They be like, "This is my house now."
Doors, okay,
stop talking.
They be Yogi, Yogi the bear. Bears be out here living their best life in your house.
Literally.
They like, I'm moving in.
Your jacuzzi, they get in your pool, get the cubs, be like, come on.
Right.
Going on a field trip.
Yeah, they crazy. When they wake up from that hibernation, they be like ready to go.
They get tired of that porridge.
Right. Not they get tired of the porridge.
Wait a minute, where did she come from with the porridge?
Because
the three bears, right?
They get tired.
They was in the bed though. They was in the bed.
That's true.
They've been so the bears been getting in our houses for a long time. They was in their house. Yep. So anyway, yeah, that can bring up. It can. That's why, and I'm seeing a common theme here. You have to check yourself. If you out here getting offended because somebody said bear, I just saw a bear, then you need to check yourself and say, why am I feeling this way? Oh, you know what? I did get attacked by a bear. I need to deal with that.
Yeah.
The person might not even know. The person might not even know, right?
Because I can't lash out at them because I got attacked by somebody by a bear years ago.
Yeah, that they don't know about.
Right, that they don't know about. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that there are two sides to this.
Yes.
There are two sides to this.
Yep. Because
also, if you are the offender,
yes,
you need to be able to listen to somebody when they tell you that you've offended them. Because one of the things that I'm finding... I know.
Because sometimes when I offend people, they be like, "You're offended." I be like, "Girl,
get
what?
over it.
You
get
need,
over it.
Why are you trying to change me?
Right? Stop trying to change me. You needed to hear that.
Right.
I was helping you.
But one thing that I do want people to understand and know is sometimes in your offense, because I think that also a lot of people can use their traumas and their situations or just a bad mood as an excuse to treat people badly.
This is true.
Because they know that, it's one thing to, not take something personally, and that's fine.
Yeah.
However, if I point out a bear and you have that trauma and you go off on me, that's not okay. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, you have to acknowledge that your thing that you did to offend them may be actually a little bit over the top.
Or you can't be slamming doors and acting a fool.
No, you can't.
Because you in a bad mood.
Because you're having a bad week.
You came in my office.
Or you came in my room and you came in my space.
You came in my space, and then you want to act a fool, and then I'm going to take that personal.
Yeah,
It's a difference between offense that you didn't mean and abuse.
Right. There's a very big difference.
Acknowledging and noticing that, because we ain't saying don't take it personal, and people out here just calling you crazy out your name and stuff.
Right.
Calling you witches with a B in the front.
Not witches with a B in the front.
You should be offended by that.
Because you said witches. You got to take out the W. Anyways, this isn't.
You knew what I was talking about.
Right,
Quit trying to act crazy.
Right, come on now.
Anyways, I bring that up because a lot of times I feel like people are like, well, I was really hurt when this happened, and I was just lashing out. Okay.
Right. Is that your apology?
Is that enough? First of all, if your
because it's not a good one.
Right. If your apology does not include the words "I apologize" or "I am sorry," and then with the action,
I'm not even saying I'm sorry, because think about what you're saying. I'm sorry.
That's true.
Think about that, y'all. Y'all sitting up here talking about I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I apologize.
You're right. That's a better one.
Yeah, because saying you sorry, you saying you sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sorry. I'm apologetic.
Mm-hmm.
I want to mend the broken fence.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't apologize a lot. We need to do a show on apologies so I can learn a little bit. Because I'm telling you, I always think I'm right. I don't be out here being like, I apologize because I said it.
Mm-hmm.
And I be thinking before I say stuff sometimes.
Sometimes.
And I hate conditional apologies, but sometimes I will be like, I'm not sorry for what I said, but I will be sorry. I apologize for the way it landed.
Right. And I think a lot of what the article talks about is the feeling of offense. But I think when we talk about it, I think we can go a little bit deeper in what you do with that offense. Like,
yeah, that's true.
Because if you leave it at not taking it personally and be done, that's one thing. Like, that's fine. But if you get offended and then you decide that you need to lash out at this person, like, that is something you actually should probably see a paid professional about.
Right.
At least just once, or like a good friend, and be like, hey, was I out of pocket for this?
Yes. Sometimes you need that therapist friend. But one of the things that I wanted to mention too is when someone has offended me, and it's not always in the moment, okay? Sometimes in my reflection, I'll say, okay, what offended me? How was I offended? Why was I offended? And sometimes I'll come to the conclusion that the person just was being insensitive, right?
Right.
And so in those cases, I like to try to communicate that back with the person and say, hey, the other day when you said A and B and C, that hurt my feelings, and it hurt my feelings because I felt like it wasn't deserved. I felt like you might have went too far. And can we discuss it? Can you tell me why you think you needed to tell me that? Mm-hmm. And so hopefully the person is open enough to have reflected on it and say, you know what, I didn't think it landed like that. I didn't mean it that way, or whatever they'll say. Most people will say they didn't mean it that way. That's what I usually get. But I do try to talk it out. Sometimes when I get offended, I do try to talk it out. And I think that's what a lot of people who get offended, like there are some people out there that I have encountered. Every time I open my mouth, they're offended.
You know what I can't stand?
What?
And because you just made me think about this.
Yeah.
I can't stand when somebody is offended and then they go to the silent treatment.
Yeah, because it doesn't make sense. It's like, how can we resolve it?
It's not productive.
Right.
Because sometimes I don't even know I've offended you.
Exactly.
And you'll go, so we'll get off the phone. Like you said, they'll get silent. They won't address it. We'll get off the phone or we'll leave each other. And then next thing you know, they'll then told Peter, Bob, Jane, and Sue. Mm-hmm. And everybody will know about it. Sometimes it'll come back to you and they'll be like, blah, blah, blah. I got offended when you said blah, blah, blah. Well, why didn't blah, blah, blah come to me? Mm-hmm. It's like, did you really want to squash it? I feel like you wanted to tell the story.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You wanted to make me look bad.
Right.
Instead of squashing it. Because if it's between me and you, and I've offended you, why can't you come to me?
Mm-hmm. Now, with the caveat that this is completely different from like realizing that somebody doesn't fit in your life anymore.
Yes.
Because if it's because of course this is for like simple disagreements, right? But if someone like repeatedly is like insensitive to you and like offends you, and you decide not to talk to them anymore, or to like not cut them out of your life, that's different from like just going around being like, well, I'm not talking to blah 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 anymore because they did this, that, and the third.
Right.
Like that's a completely different scenario situation.
But some people are too sensitive. I'm just gonna put that out there. Mm-hmm. Some people are getting offended by just regular talk. I went to the grocery store and I bought some peas. I'm telling you, it's this group of people out there that no matter what you say, it's just like they looking for you to offend them. Mm-hmm. And those people need to check themselves. Those people need to think about, why am I taking offense to everything that she says? Because your esteem is low. Yeah,
and why are you taking offense? Why is everything... I mean this in the best way possible, because I feel like I drop these nuggets at least once an episode. But here's one. It's not all about you. It's not.
It isn't.
It's not all about you. Like, I get it. We live in our heads, and I get it. Like, we're the main characters, because I'm the main proponent of, or an advocate for, believing that, your life is your movie and that you are the main character of your life. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing. However, not everything is out there to hurt you.
Right.
Not everything is out there to harm you.
Right.
And not everything has ill intentions towards you.
Right. Like, you could be telling one person about another thing. Like, you could be like, oh, when I was driving, I got over and didn't put my blinker on. Mm-hmm. And then they'll be like, well, I don't never put my blinker on and they'll take it internally like you were talking about them, and you're literally just telling a story of something that happened to you, but they're internalizing that, and they're like, well, I never put my blinker on anyway. Are you talking about me? You saying I'm a bad person because I didn't put my...
No, like, not everything that you encounter in your life is meant to shut you down.
Oh my
Because
God.
A lot of time, because if you don't have that kind of struggle, or if you don't have that kind of resistance,
if I don't say your name, how about that? Because I'm literally telling you a story about me, and then you'll make it, the person will make it about them, and it's like you said, this had nothing to do with you. What made you take it over to you?
Or also, if going back a little bit to the offense part of, because a lot of people, they see that offense as something like a challenge, right? And it's fine. And it's fine to see something as a challenge. It's fine to like disagree. That's fine. But just because something is a challenge, just because something is resisting you, doesn't mean it's there to break you down, because you're not going to get stronger if you let it. You're not gonna, working out at the gym, literally, you have to up your weights, you have to up your repetitions, you have to up your sets, you have to do all of those things to get some sort of resistance. You have to have at least a little bit of resistance in order to grow. Granted, some people do have like malicious intentions, and that's like that's completely situation by situation.
Right. That's a foe, and you need to let them go.
That's a foe, and you gotta let them go. Yep. But with that same...
Okay, Dr. Seuss's.
Why is we Dr. Seuss's? We just saying that's a foe. You got to let them go.
Right. But yeah.
Connecting the episodes. That's what we do.
Not every offense that you feel is to break you down.
Right. Chelsi, have you been offended? Has somebody... You said you don't get offended. You don't think.
Yeah, I don't think I get offended.
Because nobody be walking around telling you nothing.
No.
You know what?
I wish they would.
Like, I don't walk around telling Chelsi nothing. I let her live.
Yeah.
For the most part. Ariel, I be telling her stuff.
Ariel, I be offending Ariel.
Because we be telling her stuff. But I just be like, well, every once in a while, like I will say, like recently we went to an event, and I think you did get offended. I think you forget about your offense really quick. We went to an event, and your dress was so tight and so short. Yes. And you kept changing your outfit. Like, you had showed me this other outfit and this other, like you showed me all these other outfits. And then the day of the event, you came out and you were like, I was like, whoa, where are you going with that? and you were like, I'm going, we go into the thing. And I was like, Chelsi, that dress is so tight and so short. Where do you think you're going? Did you get offended? I think you did because you just walked away. That's what you do. Like you shut down.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, whatever. And then I think it started giving you a complex about it because you started tugging and pulling on it.
Yeah.
Did you have a complex about it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, me and my wardrobe right now is going through something. So
Because we gaining weight. That's what it's going through.
So.
And you didn't order the right size, I don't think.
Well, and just like I had another outfit that I was gonna wear, but then I gave myself a complex because of where we were going and then the colors of what it was. So I was like, ooh, I feel like I shouldn't wear that. It was a big old thing.
Yeah. And then it was like, yeah, that dress was really tight.
Yeah.
And really short.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I could see your panties.
Yeah,
your knickers. In British, they call it knickers. I love it. It's so cute. They be like, then you shouldn't have pulled down your knickers. I was just watching. I was just watching this show that said that. I was like, dang.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like it. It sounds too much like a.
You don't like knickers?
It sounds too much like a. It sounds
Why
too
you
much
gotta
like
be
another
like
word.
that? It sounds too much. It's too close. Okay. Well, they're knickers though, and they call diapers nappies.
Like a nap? Like that's what that sounds like.
Nappies.
I know, but that sounds like a napkin or a nap.
No, they call them nappies.
You want to know which one? And this is an American one that, back in the day they used to call this because, sometimes you say it, Mom. You know what, where I just don't like sanitary napkins.
Oh,
no. Like I was reading something the other day and it said sanitary napkins.
Because that's what they used to be.
I was like, what?
That's what they used to be.
Sanitary napkin?
You didn't know what it was?
Oh, I knew what it was. I was just like, who calls it a sanitary
Back in the day.
napkin?
Back in the day, that's what they used to call it. They used to have some other names, but I ain't gonna go into that. But anyway, but so you do get offended. I think you let it go. You don't take it personal.
I don't hold on to it for very long.
Yeah.
And I let it go.
And that's a good
I'm like,
thing.
whatever. I don't care.
And I'm gonna tell you what that allows you to do. You are a good example of what we're talking about today. Because if you let it go, then it doesn't have the power to penetrate you again and make it worse.
And linger and
yes,
fester
because
and
so
get
if
the
you
more
hold on
thoughts
to
in it, yeah.
If you hold on to that and then you have another outfit on at another event and I say it and you hold on to it, now you're even more offended.
Mm-hmm.
Then I say it again the third time. Now you're probably gonna snap out. So that's a good example of being a good steward of not being offended.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Yeah.
We need to take a page out of her book.
Need to take a lot of pages, but
no,
y'all not ready for that conversation.
Yeah. Well, there's one more thing that I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
Before we close out the show.
Yeah, because we've beat this horse.
We have. Is with that statement of me and you, Mom, probably needing to take a page out of that book.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Trying to do something like that and trying to come out of that offense is like turning a cruise ship.
Yeah. That's my new thing that I just gave Ariel yesterday.
Love it.
Because I was telling her, so think about, I had an old boss that used to say this all the time. She used to be like, changing stuff around here is like turning a cruise ship. She's like, a big boat, you can turn it, but it takes a while to do it. So sometimes changing your perspective and changing your behavior is like turning a cruise ship. It's going to eventually get there. It's just not going to be like today we walk out the studio and we're going to start letting stuff just roll off of us like we got raincoats on. So that's what she's saying. For those of y'all who didn't know, who weren't involved in that conversation that we had. So
and it came up because I'm a bad proponent of that. It's very hard to change my mind, but
Ariel gets stuck.
I do be getting stuck.
Man, y'all don't even know if we could have them conversations on this mic.
Let's not,
because Ariel be over here giving us the business.
I do, and I be getting But
I told you, get it. You get stuck.
I get stuck.
That's the proper way.
That's the proper way. But yeah,
you do get stuck, and then Ariel gets offended a lot.
I get offended a lot, and then I'll
because we're always telling you stuff, though.
Right?
Maybe we should stop telling her stuff.
No, I can't
because she can't represent this household like that.
I can't.
But we mean it like it. You know what it is? This is what it always be. If Ariel don't mind me outing her. Ariel is just not into. I think we've said it before. She's just not into.
Ariel's not vain.
Not at all.
She's not.
She don't give a care about that face,
about my skin, about
her hair. She cares about it, but she's not obsessive about it.
Right.
Because it'll be done.
But like bare minimum done.
And if she don't want it done, it ain't going to be like, it can be not done. And so in the clothes, she'd be like a t-shirt and some jeans, I'm good. And that's okay. But sometimes when she going somewhere special, we be like, whoa. Remember that one time we were going to the airport.
Oh my gosh, because the people
she got so mad at us. She got so
It's literally just the airport. I'm about to be on a plane for 2 hours.
But wait a minute. This is the thing. Ariel will buy new clothes
and never wear them.
We'll have a whole thing of new clothes. So we had just went shopping for new clothes for the trip. Because every time we go out of town, I buy new clothes. We buy new clothes. And we just went out of town, and Ariel had some leggings and a shirt on that looked like she was going to the gym, but it was so old. And we were like, Ariel, you just bought all these new clothes for the trip. She's like, well, I'm going to wear them when we get there. I'm just going to be literally sitting on the plane. And we were like, so me and Chelsi had on our brand new clothes.
We was athleisure dressed to the nines, okay?
What are we gonna see? Paparazzi when we get there?
Ariel,
like,
you don't know. You don't know what could happen on your way between the house and your destination.
Well, it just didn't make sense to me that we had bought all these outfits. Why would you put on something old? Like my brain just couldn't even compute
and my brain was the opposite. My brain was like, why would I wear something new when I'm just about to be in the airport?
But this is the thing. Sometimes when you get to where you're going, you can't automatically check in.
Mm-hmm. So you gotta be dressed for like
ready. That's what we feel. But I think she got it because when we went to New York, we didn't have that. When we went to New York, she had her new clothes on.
Where were we going that time then?
I don't even remember. Were we going to Texas?
No.
Where were we going?
It was a long time ago because it was when we were going to Michigan for Grandpa's 75th. 70th.
Oh, okay.
That's when it was. I remember because like Dad was packing up the car just off.
Yes.
And I remember we had to wake up super early and I was already super tired and I just was not having it.
Yes.
Right. So that's another thing about Ariel. Like, she doesn't plan ahead.
She is not a morning person.
But she doesn't plan ahead. Mm-hmm. So what she tries to do is she has to be to work 7:00, which is so early.
Right.
And then she won't put her clothes out at night. Like, I'm old school. I'll be like, Ariel, just put your clothes out at night. Because what happens when you wake up sleepy like that,
you're going to put on old school, like, hanger organizers that you used to buy for kids with the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I low-key do.
So you can just pick out your entire outfits for the week and just go.
Because if you pick them out at night, you like putting cute stuff together. You're like, okay. But when you're doing it in the morning, you be like, okay, this t-shirt works.
No, literally.
These jeans work. So you got to kind of pick your clothes out at night. The thing is, I be trying to give Ariel tips, and she don't take them as tips. She take them as, why are you attacking me? And I be like,
I be taking them as criticism.
Yeah, I'm just giving you tips, like how she just said the Monday through Friday. That would be so cool.
I'm 27 years old.
Who cares?
Hey,
girl, them organizer. Have you ever watched them organizer shows? Them people be 40 and 50. They be like, here's how you organize. Girl, that junk don't matter. Anyway, that's enough.
Yeah.
It's enough of outing Ariel about the offense. Yeah. I get offended too. Don't get it twisted, because you can offend me. And I think I offend more. I offend people more than they offend me. But it don't be on purpose. It's just because I speak my mind. Mm-hmm. People don't be wanting you to speak your mind. They be like, listen, people are like, because I'm trying to get my grammar together. People are like, when you offend them, they're like, I can't take what you just said to me, so I'm offended. So, all right. Well, thank you for joining us on our show. Follow us on our socials. Go and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Come on now. Come on.
Do it.
You know you want to, and do the bell so you get notifications. You will get notifications every week when I launch.
Blowing up your phone.
No,
y'all be blowing up our Instagram.
No. Anyway, so we thank you for joining us today. We will see you on the next episode.
Okay, bye.
Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. We look forward to you joining us on the next episode. Until then, be inspired and enlightened.